we step into the next level. Timeless game every day of the week. Could tell you how to level up your spirit and be success driven and mind strong. Get your finances right, get your grind on. You know there's power in the stories. Tune in, this the valor of the true man. Success blueprint. The success blueprint. The success blueprint. You're looking for the blueprint.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Success Blueprint. I'm Jaime, the financial enabler, and Mike, the man of valor. And today, the host is real simple. Don't talk about it. Be about it, right? And we're this is the life that we're trying to live in. No, not trying to. We are living. We don't want to just say that we're going to do things. We do them. We're really big on being about it. And right at the gate, I want to ask you guys, are you the kind of person that is about it? You know, are you, when you think of something needs to get done, improved on, fixed, refined, do you just do it, or you just hope that somebody does it, that somebody thinks about it? And yeah, Mike. So what have you seen with people that don't do that are just like, talk about it?
Yeah. What I saw is it actually, people say one thing and not do the same thing. And they think it's the same thing because it has the same feeling. When you talk about something and do something, it almost feels the exact same. But that leaving the conversation, you actually feel really productive by talking about it. You feel inspired. You feel like something happened. But the truth is, nothing happened. Right. And you know, coming across people, you know, we lead people all the time, and you can tell when somebody is saying something and not doing it, and they say it and it makes them feel good about it. But at the same time, what I've noticed is that over time, they actually feel worse by saying it and not doing it. And it has a reverse effect. They lose confidence. They have almost no credibility with themselves. The people around them notice that nothing's changing. They're just talking. So it becomes really difficult for a person to just talk about it and not be about it.
Yeah, and I think that you and I a few weeks ago, we dealt with something that somebody was talking about and not just being about it. And it was very interesting because you could tell that there was that sense. It's like, oh, this is a good idea, I'm fixing it. But then we had already been about it. And it's like when your people talk about it, it just shows that take us back, not holistically. Oftentimes it's almost like, hey, I have a good idea, or this would improve it. But when you just do it, it's like, it felt like a nail in the coffin. It's like, and unfortunately, it did feel like we were flaunting it, but we had waited so long to mention it that they knew that there was like, dude, we don't care.
Yeah.
But that's something that and it's very hard to do it and then not seek recognition either.
Absolutely. It is. Because it's like, what are you guys doing? Y'all see us doing this. Why aren't you doing it too? Or you're not even paying enough attention to notice that we're not talking, we're moving, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it reminds me of Jesus, because Jesus didn't talk about dying on the cross much. He just said it's going to happen, right? When he got closer to it, and he just did it. And then the after effect of those things, right? So same thing with us, man. It's so important that, especially as leaders, if you're a father or mother, you got kids watching, all of that stuff, your kids actually know and can tell when you're just talking about it and when you're being about it, right? Because what is the saying? They do 80% of what we do and 20% of what we say.
Yeah.
So it's the same in reality and life and everything. So you have got to decide that I'm going to go do the work so that I can have credibility to talk about it.
Yeah.
Right. And then if you're going to say, hey, man, this is something new that nobody's ever done, we should go do this. You need to go do it. You got to lead by example. You have to be the one out there. Otherwise, you're going to lose credibility with every person that you're leading. Right. And then you'll just sound like this. Like, yeah. They just talking. Right. And I never wanted that. I've always hated that feeling. I've had leaders that's been that person for me. And I'm like, man, this dude is just talking. You can tell. And then I've had leaders that just go do it. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll follow them no matter what.
Yeah. And it's so different. Like to find a leader that, again, leader could be whatever. It could be absolutely the lowest person in a totem pole. When we find a leader that is genuinely committed to their growth and to say, I'm going to do these things, it's game changer. And it's funny because now we're talking about this and it kind of just hit me like, oh, this is such a low level conversation. But then I realize it's the basics that not enough people are doing.
Yeah.
So many are like, I hope somebody else fixes it. I hope government fixes it. I hope so and so fixes it. I hope church, that my job. Instead of like, how are we the change that we want? How are we the change that we desire? And that generally isn't enough of that. And with that, I'm self-challenging, and I would challenge anybody to ask themselves is like, what are you really willing to do? Like, if you really
Exactly.
want, like, how far are you willing to go to fix that?
Yeah. And think about it. People mistake declaring a goal for pursuing it. Like, I'm going to start the business. I'm going to start working out. I'm going to start reading, right? And it feels good in the process. It feels like progress, but it actually isn't anything, right? So we always, because we hear it all the time, you need to declare it and say it out loud, and you know what I'm saying? And it'll give you, but that feels really good in the moment, especially when you're doing it in front of a bunch of people who are either see you as leader, or people you want to respect, or you want their respect, or you're looking to impress. It feels really good in the moment, and it sounds great, but it's not progress. It's just a feel good. Matter of fact, that talking element, I think it probably just, it activates the same reward center in your brain as doing it, right? And it
Wow.
becomes a trap. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a trap because it's like, yeah, you know, with our leader, hey man, what are you gonna do? And people start declaring, oh, it's done, it's done, it's done, it's done, and then nothing happens, right? And then the people that are like, yes, I'm going after it and go do it. There's a completely different mood and feel, and you can tell, right? And it makes me think about this. I always wanted to be the guy that when somebody asks me, hey, what are you going to get done? They can count on exactly what I said I'm going to do, right? I've always wanted to be that. I'm like, all right, man, I said I'm going to do this. This is what I'm doing. Let's get it, right? And it becomes super dangerous to a person in a room when one person has been talking all the time about the same thing for 5 years and not a single step towards it, right?
Yeah.
Not a single step taken. And it's very dangerous place
And
to be.
and to that, like, it shows that, and I think that there's a psychological personality perspective, a maturity perspective, that while there's a lot of power in declaring it, there's a lot of humility in just doing it, you know? And I don't know, like, that's what I'm saying, personality, there's a lot more factors, because I know we have to declare it, but so many more people which are better off just saying, "You know what? This time I'm not gonna declare it. I'm just gonna make it happen."
Just gonna make it happen.
Just watch, sit back
Yeah.
and watch. I'm not even gonna say it. It's like it's done deal. And I think that is really really powerful. You know, I think that would be the idea of like how we can create a massive change of that people just doing it, man. And I'm glad that that person mentioned the Japanese picking up trash. You know, but because they were talking about that, and I'm like, bro, I lived in Japan for 4 years. This is just how they are.
It's their culture.
It's just the culture. Like nobody is shocked. And if he sees this, I'll say it. It's like it's unfortunate that he saw the soccer team do it. But like I've known of their pro teams doing it forever. You know, Shohei Ohtani does it in his teams. It's like this is just Japanese culture. And it's so interesting that even though the world sees it, nobody picks it up. It's still somehow just the Japanese that do it. And they continue to maintain that standard. And I'm sure that at some point now, the Olympic teams and the national teams are like, this is what we do, you know, or they just show up and they just know like Shoei is here. Shoei's gonna pick up trash. You better be mindful of what Shoei's doing and follow along. And that's true leadership. Leaders just do it and people tag along. That's how you become successful. Like, man, not enough
Yeah.
people doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. And you know, when you do it all the time, right? When it becomes a habit for you, when it's your pattern, when it's your culture, when it's who you are, you start talking and people assume you're gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even doubt it, right? And I'm not saying this to toot neither one of our horns, but I know when you make a declarative statement, people believe it.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
expect it to get done, right? And it's the same for me. And it's almost scary when I say my big dream, like, and I tell certain people, like even my dad, you know what I'm saying? Like I'll say something, he's like, "Oh yeah, son, I know you'll do it." And I'm like, "Crap, I definitely have to do it." You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
I gotta do
It's
it.
bigger than it's bigger than what I believe I know that I can do on my own. So I'm like, okay, how can I make sure I'm painting a vision enough and doing the work for my own self that I can bring other people along with me and knock the thing out, right? And actually accomplish the thing that I said. So just talking about it really, it doesn't help you if you're not willing to go do the work. Most of us, it's easy to talk. You know what I mean? Like talk is, well, what's the saying? Talk is cheap.
Talk is cheap.
Talk is cheap, but if you don't actually go do the work, man, and put the thing in, like I said, like me and you was like, yo, we're gonna have a 6-pack by the end of the summer, and I don't have one, and I'm like, crap, You know what I'm saying? Like I told my guy I'm doing it, so I'm already on it. We'll have it by the end of the year for sure, right? I mean, I just got to get there, bro. I got to get there, and because I said I was going to do it, and it's just we just honestly been focused on other things and not that. But I need to, and I will. And that's my word to you because
Oh,
that's who I am.
look
So
at
I got
that,
to get it.
calling it out. So now we know in December, like we got to make it happen. And I wonder now, like as we teach people to do this, because I've been pondering a lot when it comes to leadership. Because if it's as a leader raises their own bar, there's a point of like the maturity of the observation. And I wonder how many people, if you're listening to this, do you actually observe what people are doing? Which I realize as I'm talking about it, that is a matter of being selfless because you have to say, whatever everybody else is doing may have an impact in my life. It doesn't matter, but it may have an impact in my life.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
But if you're only looking internally, then you're not going to have an impact. You're not serving, you're not valuing, you're not loving, at some point you have to look externally. And I realize there's not enough people looking externally to see who can they emulate, who can they be like. What would you say, especially like in your experience in church and in the faith, like what are some of the reasons that people don't do that?
Yeah. So some of it I think is being oblivious, right? A lot of self-centered, right? You're only thinking about you and what can I do and that. And when you said that, it made me think about this message I heard and from a well-known pastor. He said, "Man, everybody needs a model home."
Mm,
You know what I mean? Like we all
yeah.
need that because when we go looking for home, like just take the home buying experience. Your first time, you have no idea, right? What you want. You're not even sure. Like you're like, oh, this. You're just looking at it. Say, oh, this is nice. And then you get into it and you move in and you start living in it. You're like, why'd they put the light switch here? Why is there only one plug in this entire room? You know what I mean? Like, so we all need, like, I don't even have ideas for how to decorate it. That's why you need a model home so you can know what that things looks like for practicality and how to grow and how to get to the next level. Sometimes I think that we look at our peers, we have our peers, and we don't look at what they're doing because we're trying to emulate what's up so much. You know what I mean? Like I'm constantly looking at my peers. I know that I use the biblical perspective. We need the cross. I need to be up and down and also need the guy on my level. And I'm looking to my left and right, like, oh man, he's doing this, she's doing that. Oh, I need to grab that. Man, I love the fact. Like in that same meeting, I mentioned write handwritten notes to all our people when we go to certain places, right? And I got that from somebody that's on the, you know what I mean? Like that's on the same playing field, on the same level that we are. And I was like, man, I'm going to implement that thing, which is fun and it's fire to do. So I think a lot of people are just sometimes they're like, well, we're on the same level, so I can't learn from you.
Yeah. And now that's so good. And now I'm thinking about it is that we get stuck in thinking if we're in the same level, we can't learn. When in reality, I just thought of this is there's most learning that can happen because it's the most available group. The problem is that so many people are only looking for what to do right instead of also avoiding doing what's wrong. Right. And I'm thinking like the scientific method, right? You got to test for positive and test for negative, right? Like you got to do both. And I don't think enough people look at what are the people doing wrong. What is a habit? What are the negative examples that we can avoid? And oftentimes you're going to get a lot more of that because then you're going to be like, okay, don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, he did that. Was that the right call? No, it wasn't. Okay. Oh, yes, it was because we don't know, but not enough of us are observant of what the peers are doing. And there's so much power in that. Like we can milk that opportunity to really improve it. And I think there's a lot of value there. I like the cross. Is that something you learned at a church or something? Or it's
Yeah,
just
I would say I got it from a guy from that I do men's ministry with. You know what I mean? Like the way his perspective on it, which was really good. So I love that. And then you mentioned the negative. Like I actually learn more from the negatives than I do the positives, if I'm honest, because the negatives are easy to be like, okay, I know not to do this. But the positives, sometimes they do them so well, you don't even know what they did. And it's,
yeah.
it's even harder to implement. You know what I mean? So sometimes, like you said, if I'm looking to my left and right, I'm like, oh man, he did that. That had a terrible effect. Don't do that. So at least I know if I'm trying something new, not to do that. If I'm working my way to get to the next level, hey man, if I do what he did, I'm probably going to get his results, right? Or her results or the same thing. So it's actually to me, in my humble opinion, it's the faster way of learning, right?
Yeah.
Which is well, like we said before, We're not designed to learn from experience. We're designed to learn by faith. I'm gonna take the fact that my peer group, we're in the same peer group for a reason, and I'm gonna learn from his experiences more and her experiences more than me having to go implement it myself. Well, he did that and it didn't work, but I bet you I can do it better. How arrogant of me to think that I could do, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying I can't do certain things better. We all have our positives and our strong points. And I'm not, and I might have done something. He might have done something, or she might have done something that I've done before, and we had different results for sure because they might have been stronger at it than I was, or vice versa. However, I'm always looking to learn from everybody, whether they're above me, beneath me, and I don't mean that in a bad way, right? Or along the same side as me. I'm always looking to learn. Doesn't matter the age, doesn't matter the sex, none of that. I've actually learned a lot from my kids about them being about it and not just talking about it. You know what I mean? Which is really good.
And it's generally more, even if we look at it just as simple availability, right? Like
Yeah.
how much time do we have with the people that we're learning from? Minor amounts of time, right? And oftentimes they do the wrong thing and we're like, or we don't like that. So we just got to say, okay, this guy's somewhere that I want to go. I don't like that. Don't be like that. But he's one available, very influential person instead of a bunch of not as influential people that are widely available. So at some point, if we look at just availability of information, man, how do we take so much more of that so that we can see how are people being about it? And I mean, that would be so. I wish any organization would look at that. Is that how do you? And I've been working on like recognizing mistakes as valuable.
Yeah. Yeah. I love him. All right. I think that John Maxwell made me really, view mistakes in a different light. It's like I actually love making 'em. I don't mind because it tells me what not to do. And I'm so fast to adjust. It's like, that was stupid. Right? That was a mistake. Let's pivot. You know what I mean? Instead of waddling in it, hey man, that was crazy. Why didn't that work? Okay, that didn't work because this, and this. Let's not do that. Let's shift gears and go to the next level and do the next thing that I know better to do, or reach out. Right? Hey, bro, I did this and it didn't work. Oh yeah, don't do that. Do this. Okay, like how did you do that? Man, I did that, this, and this. Okay, great. So I don't
Mhm.
repeat that same cycle and go through it. So making mistakes is really good. Right?
Yeah.
It's fun.
And I think that I one thing that I'm planning on doing is that I want to start recognizing people making the mistakes. It's like, thank you for making that mistake, or thank you for willing, thank you for fumbling that, so to speak, because now we can work with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't think I know that I don't do that because in my especially my marineness, I wanna quote unquote, I wanna hammer on that, and I come in so hard when people make mistakes that I've realized that it's part of the way that I'm shunning out people's exploration because I was at a stage in my life that I was bold enough to be courageous despite my mistakes. Not everybody's at that stage, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm really thinking of like, how do I get so much better at that to encourage people to be like, I want to research. I asked a question. That was the dumb one,
Yeah.
and really
Which
work on that.
which is good because of some of these major companies like Google or whatever, they have like innovation weeks, right? Where all work stops and they just go innovate. Innovation comes with failure. And they celebrate those failures more than they do the wins. You know what I mean? Like they want you to fail at something because failure actually is not a bad. What's the acronym for it? First attempt in learning. As
Oh,
long
that's
as
so
you're
good.
learning, right? As long as it doesn't really matter if you screwed it up. Like, hey man, what did you learn from it? Like, man, I screwed that up, but I learned a lot. Right. And then if you ask successful people, they'll tell you, man, I failed just like everybody else, but I did it more often and I did it faster. So I learned what not to do and I was able to pick myself up. So when we talk about it and not be about it, like we're talking about, it's okay that, we made a mistake or screwed it up. It's okay that we're not looking to our left and right to do those things. We just have to move and take some steps along with it. And it reminds me of the terror barrier that Bob Proctor talks about all the
Yeah.
time. Right? We talking about this thing and it feels good in a moment, but taking that first step, you're like, crap, I am afraid that this won't work. Well, congratulations. Welcome to life. We've all been there. We're all there. And if you're doing something great,
Mhm.
you're doing something different, it's going to be that.
Yeah. Yeah. The terror barrier is like it's right through that. The success is right there. The learning to be about is right at that other side of it. Can you think of something that you were not about, that you said about, that you and looking back, you're like, man, I messed that up.
100 things, right? Right. I can think of a bunch of things. Being there for my kids like I wanted to. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take them on dates. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna be there and shoot. All right. I looked up. I'm like, man, it's been 6 months. I haven't even taken my daughter on a date. right? Or man, I haven't spent any time with my son, working out with him, playing his video games, just chatting with him, being a man. Like, geez, those things. Man, hanging out with my wife, right? In spaces like that, like seeing her more than just a wife, seeing her as Candace, as a woman, as a mother, as a person, right? Beyond the attributes that come along with her. Right. Those things, even for myself, giving myself orders like, man, I'm gonna dive into this book, or I'm gonna dive into this study, or I'm gonna do more of this reading, or I'm gonna do nothing but that. Like I've had all kinds of things like that where epic fail. You know what I mean? I'm gonna call my guys more. I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna try to, like, I've had plenty of those things where I said I'm gonna do, and it didn't work. Even, and you know, in transparency, everybody goes through it, making a certain amount of money, you know, in a relatively fast pace, and get there fast. Or I'm gonna get it by this date. We're gonna do this and that. And it's like crap, right? I said that, and it's not even close. What are we doing,
What are
right?
we
But
doing?
yeah, and some of it is not for lack of effort, but it's just is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's in some spaces, I could have put in way more effort for sure. And I had to be real with myself and not just talk about it and go be about it. Right.
Mhm.
Let me ask you. So I'm sure you've had the same, but what's the real cost of just talking about it? Like, how does it hurt people to just talk?
That's a good question, man. I wasn't expecting that one. That kind of caught me off guard. The real cost is that two people lose faith in you. You
Mm,
lose faith in you, and they lose faith in you. And I
so
think
good.
that what's that?
I said so good.
That I think that's the biggest cost. That when we say it now, the first person that gets hurt is us, and I'm seeing the value more and more of it of keeping your promises. I'm gonna wake up at this time and just doing it, or like the 6 pack thing, right? For me, it was last December. I'm halfway through the year. I'm a little bit better than I was last year, but the last few pounds have been tough, and I'm not keeping my promises. So then I know that psychologically and subconsciously, our mind is saying, "Oh, you're a liar. You're lying." And it hurts. But then when you say it in front of people, we always lose credibility. But that's where there's a balance of, like, I do believe that there's a point that a leader should be able to say, I'm going to do this crazy thing and stay so persistent that people see it through. Because you can tell when someone is like, "Oh, you never really meant that." So I think that there's people that we got to continue to make him a believer and make ourselves a believers. Like, I didn't hit the goal, but I believe I could do it. It's going to take more time than a lot of time than what I said. But then, like, you can tell, like, and I'm sure you see it with your kids. Like, let's say, "Oh, I'm gonna get my homework done," and they don't get it done, but you saw their head down, focused, locked in, and you're like, "All right, bro, you're struggling. That's all good, bro." You probably give them. Maybe that's when, like, I'm assuming you're
More grit.
something. You're like, "Hey, bro, go play some video games, man. You're not gonna figure it out right now by just like beating yourself on the book, right?"
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
it's interesting to see the people with determination and how it affects the audience observing you, and the people without determination and how it affects the outside world. I think those are the two bigger factors. Like, show your own determination to get it through. What do you think?
Man, man, that's so good. So good, bro, because it makes me think it's actually not about hitting the goal. It's about our effort. And
Yes.
that's the only thing we can control. It's about effort and who you become in the process. Did I learn? Did I push myself? Did I get to the next level? And that's everything you said, which is really good. Yeah, I want to make sure one of my biggest goals is that the gap between my words and my effort is very small.
Ooh, because it cannot be the gap between the words and the success.
Yes.
Ooh.
The words, my words and my effort needs to be like, you know what I'm saying, paper thin,
Mm.
right? To get to that next level. Because again, for us, it's really not about the goal. It's who we become in the process. It's effort and what did I learn about me and did I get better? And man, I've realized I could do more. And man, I did more than I've ever done before. Even though I didn't hit this goal, I actually did more than I've ever done, which is phenomenal. You know what I mean? And that's a great place to be. And for those of us that have these huge goals, you'll probably won't hit them in the time that you think anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I
No.
mean? It probably takes way more effort, and then we're a lot of times we're relying on the efforts of others and circumstances of others to actually get there, which is even harder, and the gap on that part is is wider. So for me, I want to make sure that my words and my effort, that gap is very, very small. Right? It's paper thin. So man, what you said was so fire. Like I love that. It's two people. Me other people, right? That's watching it. And if actually, even if you don't think it's affecting you, when you see how other people respond to you, it affects you even harder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's probably some of the thing. One of the things that I try to protect the most is that, especially within our people, the people I'm leading. So when I find a person that's only talking and not moving, I'm like, hey, listen, this hurts you, but it's also going to hurt the other people even more, which
Yeah.
is good.
And have you, when people don't do it, do you think that people have enough grace to see a difference?
No, I think it depends on the person. I'm not sure. I can't say it's a yes or no for everybody. I've actually encountered both
Mm-hmm.
where they have a lot of grace for themselves, and then I have other people that's too much grace for themselves, right? And they're not real with themselves. The person is not real with themselves. That's the one that hurts the most. The one that's real is like, man, I said this and I didn't do it. But at the same time, I did learn a lot about me. Right. And I
Yeah.
realized that here's my shortfalls. Here's the things that I could do better. And I'll shout out my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law who are really good at that. Right. They'll fall off or something or won't do something the way that they thought they would. And they'll come back and be like, hey man, I know that this isn't going the way I thought, but this, and this. And I'm like, I love it. Right. It tells me they have a lot of emotional intelligence. Right. Which I love. What about you? Have you seen it in people?
I have seen that people that have grace make better leaders across the board. And something that, like I said, like in my personal success, where the success I'm trying to get to, I've realized I'm one of those people that needs to really focus on having more grace, because grace is not my easy. It's not my go-to. You know what I mean? So I'm really really thinking of how do I really care more about myself and allow myself to have grace with people, because I realize is because I don't have grace in myself.
Mm,
I beat me up, so then I beat everybody up, you know?
mm,
So
yeah.
it's a revolving cycle of it. It's like, personal growth and across the board.
Yeah.
But this is way good. This is way good. And obviously we're gonna keep growing this. Do you have any closing words?
Yeah, man. Let's just what could a person do to shift their movement today? Right? How could you go from just talking to start moving and being about it? Right. The first thing I would say, just over the next 7 days or the last 7 days, do an audit on yourself. Right. Write down everything you said you were going to do, all the things you actually did, and go from there. Right. So once you have that, you just write it down. Nothing crazy. And not for you to beat up yourself, but to be real and truthful. Identify one thing that you keep talking about, but you're not doing. Okay. And then after that, you find an accountability partner, a person that will help you get that. And not just a person that's, oh, girl, you got it. Oh, man, you got this, blah, blah, blah. Not just a cheerleader, not that person. You want somebody, I'd rather it be with somebody that you respect so much that you want to get it done so you don't have to tell them that you didn't. Right. And that makes for a better accountability partner. So if you do those three things, first move, do a personal audit, find the one thing you keep talking about, and then find somebody to hold you accountable there. I think, man, you can make some great moves in life. So that's what I would leave people with as some actionable things that they can do today to make that shift.
Yeah. And the one I would give is make yourself a very small promise that you're not doing and keep it. Like, I don't know, read one verse of the Bible. Not even a whole chapter, a verse.
Yes.
If people committed, I'm going to read one verse. I'll give you a crazy story. I think it's like if you read the Bible two verses a day, you'll read the whole Bible in 42 years. No big deal. Two verses a day, 42 years. But it's doable, right? But
Yeah.
I'm sure that if people committed to that, I mean, there's hundreds of people that haven't read the Bible, thousands of people. So if one person just did it in a lifetime, it would be much better, than nothing. So I start with a small, small promise and keep it every day.
I love that.
Well, cool. This is your success blueprint. We'll be back. We'll be running again, and see you guys soon. Aloha. This podcast is not financial advice, and it only represents the opinions of those participating. Our goal is to get you to your version of financial independence. Please follow and like on every platform.